Welcome back, everyone, to 321 Michigan, where we speak with business owners, organizations, and groups in our local area and hearing about what they're up to and how we can get more involved. Today, I'm joined by Mike Shelafoe from Arcane Film Company. Thanks for joining me today, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
So, no one will see the things that go beyond the scenes, but Mike has been helping me make this not such a hot mess, including today. So thank you for always doing that, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
So do you want to share a little bit first about kind of how you got started with Arcane Film Company, where it came from?
Yeah, so I started, I graduated from college initially in 2012 with degrees in forensic anthropology and world religions, which is far from what I'm doing now. And the plan was initially to go to get my PhD, which I started working on and decided I didn't want to be in school that long. So kind of wrapped up that around the same time my wife was finishing her graduate program. So we moved back to the UP. She's from the Twin Cities, but we moved to the UP because she likes it here. And it was kind of just like supposed to be a stepping stone to figure out where we wanted to go next. And we decided to stay, worked for Best Buy, and just kind of to make some money while we figured it out. And after a while, I started a business with my mom, actually a graphic design company, and we needed some video work done. And I decided to try to learn. I felt like it was on the techie side, so I did. I spent a couple weeks learning how to do some very basic stuff, and I really liked it. Um, so decided to go back to school while we were still in Marquette, so NMU. So I went through film school, and after I graduated, I was still no, I had at this point moved to a tech company and was doing some like in-house stuff for them, and kind of started branching out to do more side business stuff. It's kind of like I feel like everyone needs like that artistic outlet in their life, and for me, video is kind of that outlet. So after getting a few larger YouTube clients and a couple local clients, I decided that I was doing enough of it that I should make a business out of it. So that's kind of how that happened.
It's funny how often that happens where it's like unintended business.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also did not go into business intentionally
Right.
or with like a lot of forethought. But almost better that way, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing something that you enjoy and it's a
Yeah.
passion, and it just kind of evolves into a way to make money, which is never a bad thing.
No, for sure. So some of the ways that you've helped me, like, I guess the easiest way for me to say it is make the video and audio sound and look more professional, are with like a couple of gear changes, because I was using pretty basic low cost gear, and then also just knowledge of like how to set everything up and like create an environment that fostered like better recordings, because yes, you can do a lot post production, but a lot of it still depends on like the actual recording session itself. So some of the equipment we use, for instance, like there's a big difference between like this $50 mic I have now and your mic, for instance. So what would you say, like if someone was looking to understand more about equipment, like what are some of the differences that they should understand?
Yeah. Well, one of the big things for podcasts, obviously, is audio. Even if you're doing a video podcast, audio is still the most important. And honestly, I would argue that it's even the most important thing in regular film as well. Audio engineering is huge, and I'd much rather watch someone on, say, YouTube, for example, with a 720 video but has great audio than the other way around. If you can't understand somebody or it's garbled audio, it's going to sound bad. So one of the first things, if you're looking to step up from like a $50 mic or just your headset mic, something like that, would be to look into an XLR mic. They're it's pretty unanimous with the sound industry. I mean, from bands and DJs to professional podcasting. And you can get into it fairly cheap. You can do, there are mics that are 50 to $100 that are XLR. Buy a $10 cable and then maybe a 50 to $100 audio interface, and from there, your audio is stepped up big time. That's a lot. That's the first step, really, is to look into XLR, which is basically a 3-prong cable that just delivers much higher quality audio.
Yeah.
And then to get that into a computer, you would need an interface that somehow takes that XLR input and basically digitizes it and puts it through USB or USB Type-C or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Beyond that, your environment is always a huge thing too. I have one client who is just an audio-only podcast that I edit for, and he records in his closet. That was my suggestion. The reason he does that is because, you've got tons of clothes in there. It's a small environment. There's zero echo. And he has, I think, like $50 or $75 mic. It's not even an XLR mic, and he sounds great. And that's the big thing is, if you're sitting in a room that's a box, basically, you're going to get horrible audio because sound is going to bounce around and it's going to reverb. And a lot of times lower quality microphones don't really know what to do with that echo, so it comes out as worse quality.
Right. And I've been learning with my new editing jobs that that's not an easy fix.
Yeah, as you've seen pre-production with audio, just even taking a few minutes to test the space you're in, try going to different areas of your house, hang up blankets, something like that.
Yeah.
Those few minutes can save you a ton of time, and honestly could prevent having a clip be completely ruined.
Right. Exactly. I'm kind of jealous that he is an audio only and can record in his closet, to be fair.
Right. Yeah. And that's one thing that audio only podcasts have over video, is they only have to worry about that one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Though I do love the video format because I think it's really important to see people's expressions and reactions. It just makes me have a better experience overall. Though I do love the audio too. So from a video standpoint, obviously, like 4K cameras are pretty accessible. Well, they're not super accessible. They still are a little bit on the higher end. But would you say, like, is there anything in between doing something like actual camera versus just like my laptop webcam that would be better?
Yeah. First step, honestly, your phone. Your phone is going to record 1,000,000 times better audio than most webcams.
This is crazy.
Companies put a ton of money into making sure that their phones can take good photo and video because that's what people want. And even the best laptop webcam is going to falter because they're just not that great. And honestly, I would say, if you don't want to spend money on a webcam, just you can find a mount or something for your phone and plug it into your computer. That'd be step one, besides going with a webcam.
Interesting. Okay. Good to know. I've not even thought of doing that. That might be better than when I don't have access to your equipment.
To be honest, I use my phone as a B camera when I'm on set. And
nice.
There's certain shots that it just doesn't work for. But I can use that footage, and color grading them, it looks the same. You would never know.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. That's all good to know. So obviously I know how you've helped me create better environments and equipment and everything to make our podcast sound better, but how would you go about helping others? So like, what kind of services are you offering or want to help people with?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is obviously the entire production, right? So I can come in with my my equipment, set everything up, do it that way. However, there's I have clients all over the US. So most of the time, that's just not an option. So there's a couple ways I can help beyond that. And that's going to be consulting. So I can have a Zoom meeting or whatever with someone and kind of make sure they're either have the right equipment or make kind of point them in the right direction, help them set up the room they're in or their environment the best way possible so you can get the best audio, best lighting, whatever it is. And then editing is a big one too. So I do both audio and video editing. Most of what I'm doing right now, my clients are audio and video. They're YouTube videos. And then I have a few clients that are audio only. So
Gotcha.
it kind of just depends on what people are looking for. But like I said, I have clients. I have a client in California. I have a client in New York, and we're all the way in Michigan. So
yeah, so it's pretty open. What do you see as like the future of some of the things coming up for maybe your services, but then also just like the video audio game in general? Do you see anything changing with the way that you're doing things anytime soon? Because technology is always changing, but it's kind of sometimes hard to guess or like be ahead of the curve on those things.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we talked a little bit about phones already. Phones are getting better and better every single year. The cameras are better. I'm super excited to see kind of how that pushes a little bit into the professional or pseudo professional world. Um, we already see Apple every year releases a shot on iPhone video, which it's a little bit cheating because they have a huge rig they put it in. You know, probably a
Right.
$250,000 rig, but it's still cool to see that something like that can be achieved on a phone.
Yeah.
Um,
There's like a Lady Gaga video that's shot all on an iPhone, I think,
yep,
right?
yep.
Or a Galaxy, one of the two,
Yeah, one of the I'm not sure which one it
one of
was,
the
but
bigger ones. Yeah.
there was a couple kids, I think they were college students a few years ago that shot a film that actually won a pretty large film festival. It was all on phone, and they just wanted to show like you can do this with a really
Hmm.
small amount of technology.
Yeah. And I think that says a lot about the accessibility of like when we were kids growing up. If someone would have told me like, so I had like this tiny little camera that I would take snowboarding on the hill, and I would take footage, and then I would take it home and I would get it on my card, and then I would put the card in my,
Hmm.
in the computer thing. And it was like this big process, and I'd have really crappy video, and I would make like these stupid videos out of it with terrible audio that I would rip off of Livewire. I don't know if I can say that on the internet still and not get sued, but it was the 90s, all right. Or maybe 2000s by then. And like the thought process for me here in like Podunk, Michigan, to say like I could potentially become a video editor when I was older and get paid for it was not even on the table. But I think that's much more accessible now for kids to think like for instance, my son will all the time grab his tablet and make videos of himself, and he wants to learn like how do I become a YouTuber. It's a much more accessible thing than it used to be. It didn't like maybe people in California could be, people like video producers, and I never would have thought to that be possible. But it's
Yeah,
interesting how technology's evolved to let that happen.
it's a new field. I mean,
Yeah.
it's technology evolving has created tons of new fields, but specifically like YouTube or video audio stuff. Uh, you wouldn't like when we were like you said when we were kids, if we wanted to make a TV show, for example, like
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't have $500,000 to build out a studio to make
Right.
a, what I mean? Like, but now, yeah, like you said, with a
Yeah.
phone or a tablet
Yeah.
only, you can do everything from shooting the video, editing the video, color grading, all that stuff, upload it to YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Well, cost of the tablet and internet, but
Sure. But even
um,
that, I mean, you might be able to bum from somebody
yeah,
else or
absolutely.
borrow from the school or a library. There's a lot of
Hmm.
resources, but either way, it's a lot lower cost than it used to be.
Yeah,
And they're common household tools now where they didn't used to be.
right,
Not every house had that kind of access,
right,
especially like growing up. Not every person even had a computer when we were
right. Yeah, we had a
kids,
family computer for the longest
right?
time, one single
In the
computer.
kitchen.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everyone can see you doing stupid things on video and trying to make it into something good. So, which it never was, but
Yeah.
it's an evolution, right? But no, it's really true, and so I think it's really fascinating that you're able to help people shine. That's one of the things that I love about audio and video, especially the work that you do, because you look at it from like the film, more like cinematography, cinematic.
That's
There we
right.
go.
Yeah.
Um, that angle, you're able to help people express themselves and shine in a way that they might not have thought possible. And that's kind of the power of audio, video, and the internet and technology in general, I think, especially when it comes to small businesses, where they didn't maybe think that they had access to something like that. They'd have to rely on like a TV company that's going to sell them ad commercials and
Hmm.
have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, and not even know whether that's hitting their target market. Whereas with like the emergence of social media and the ability to do audio video editing and podcasts like this, or just clips and videos, you can really help a lot of small businesses on a different kind of budget, and also very like a more custom scale than you were
Right.
before.
Right. Yeah, and it's for me, that's the thing. You kind of hit the nail on the head with the cinematography. That's um, the dream before I kind of started doing my own stuff and some other things. When I was in film school, I was gonna move to California. My
Mhm.
wife and I were gonna go to LA, and that was gonna be the start of it. But
Mhm.
then the pandemic hit, and kind of changed
Life.
everything. And yeah, so, but the thing I still love about film and my favorite role on a bigger film set is DP, so director of photography, and the whole thing. Their entire job basically is to come up with and help the director or the showrunner, whoever it is, figure out what they want the look to be of a shot, and it's
Mm.
their job to take that artistic view and translate it into technology to make that possible. So whether it's a lighting setup or audio or video, mostly audio video or mostly video and lighting, but whatever it is, that's kind of their job. And for me, that's my favorite thing. Um, I really like coming up with a shot in my head and trying to figure out, okay, like I need this camera, this lens, shot from this angle with this lighting setup to make that happen.
Yeah,
Um,
which is a science.
yeah, it really is. But it also kind of goes hand in hand with the art side and having that,
Hmm.
like I said, that artistic outlet that everyone kind of
Yeah,
needs.
because you still need the vision
Yeah.
too, to because it's not something that there isn't, it's not an exact science per se.
No, and every DP, if you were to explain to them, I want this shot, you explain it the same way, they're going to come up with different ways to do that, and
Yeah.
it's all going to look slightly different, which is why, um, different movies, even if there's
Hmm.
say like a dark theme to the whole movie, they look completely different because everyone has their own vision.
Exactly. It's so fascinating. I love entertainment, so getting into like the little nitty-gritty things about like how it's made is really
Mhm.
interesting. um, so anything else that you would like to share with everyone on, perhaps the best way to contact you, anything coming up that you want to talk about, or anything else?
Uh, well, you can hit up my website. It's arcanefilm.co, or email me at mike@arcanefilm.co. Usually, email is the best way to get in contact with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it, coming behind or in front of the screen from behind the camera
Yeah,
for
no problem.
once.
It's a little different. Usually, I'm behind the camera, but
You're usually always here for the
right,
most part, just on the other side.
right.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for always making sure that we sound and look good, but then also everything you do for other businesses to do the same. And thanks for
Yeah,
coming on the show.
yeah, no problem.
All right. Until next time, guys, be sure to listen in, subscribe, and follow along for. We'll have one more episode for this season coming up next week, and then we will wrap for season 1 of 321 Michigan. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.